Hi everyone, just waiting for Laurent to log on. He should be ready any minute. Laurent, I'm not sure if you're using your iPad or... there we are. Okay. Let me try to add you. You see my request, Laurent? It says waiting for you. I'm not sure if you're using your iPad or your phone. If you can't use your iPad, you may have to change back to your phone. It says you're unable to join. Sorry guys, just waiting for Laurent. There we go. Go live.
Hello.
Hello.
How are
So
you?
is it good? Is it your phone or your iPad?
iPad.
Ah, okay, so it works.
It works perfect. So
Very nice.
I'm ready.
Perfect. You have a great setup.
I do.
Let me change to the label. It looks better with your labels rather than the face. You want to use? Let's use this one.
Yeah, first.
Okay, perfect. So welcome everyone to our last live tasting of the year. Today or tonight we have our very good friend Laurent Ponsot with us, who is currently in the Jura Mountains.
And it's snowing.
It's snowing. It's his retreat. I guess you go what every month
No, every
or some every week. Okay, all right. What a life. Anyway, so it's great to have you, Laurent. Thank you for joining us. Everybody knows you. Everybody knows a bit about the story, but perhaps you can start by saying your inspiration behind this new label of yours since a few years now, and what are your plans? What are you going to do with it? And how many wines are you making? Because we haven't been able to see each other the last year. So, what are the plans as well and the development? So, please.
Yeah, well, thank you for welcoming me in Hong Kong and all over the planet. Hello to everyone which is looking at us. We're going to share a little time of pleasure because wine means pleasure before meaning anything else. Well, about the new venture, this is some words to say that when I left my ex winery, I decided to restart a life with the word in mind, future. We are living today in a period of time where too many people are looking back and they do things which have to see with the Middle Age, but we are in the 21st century. So my goal is to respect the authenticity of each terroir. So on a label, there is a name which represents a piece of land, and on this piece of land, we grow vines, and these vines are producing a unique wine. And we have in Burgundy almost 1,200 different appellations, which is quite unique. So this is the respect I want to pay to my region. Having said that, I use the tools of 21st century. I started with the 20th century, and this is not a paradox to blend the history, which is almost more than two millennium of farming and winemaking, to the technology of today. I will give you just one example of what it means. Dijon is very famous for being the capital of mustard. There is a reason. The reason is that to produce mustard, you need vinegar. Where do you find vinegar? But in a region where during years, during centuries, you could not achieve perfectly the fermentation and you produce 1 year or two vinegar. So this is one example. Today, we have systems to control the temperature of the vats, and we produce no more vinegar. Okay, a vinegar of Chambertin can be something interesting, but I prefer to produce Chambertin really. So this is an example of what the new technology can bring. And we go as far as possible in that direction with the only idea of protecting the terroir, the authenticity and the wine. And it has to be protected from the roots of the vines until the glass of wine that you will have in front of you when you open a bottle. And this is, I try to put the wine in such a condition that at the very end, when you have to have pleasure and emotion with it, it is ready and perfectly matured and kept, good traveling and so on. So this is what we do. Having said that, the new winery is based on something a little unusual in Burgundy. Is based only on négoce. I don't want to hear people saying you are a vigneron, you are what? No, we are négociant. Négociant during years was a bad word. Today it's not anymore, and it was not. It has been only a bad word during, I would say, 50 years. Before that, the négociants in Burgundy were in charge of aging the wine, bottling the wine, and marketing the wine. The vine growers were selling their wines after 6 months maximum after the harvest to the négociant. And if Burgundy is so well known over the planet, it's due to the négociant. So let's go back to this period of time where négociants could buy grapes, must, or wine in barrels to the winemakers, to vine growers, I would say, and produce a unique wine. So this is what we want to do today. And we added, beside négociant, the word haute couture. Haute couture all over the planet means something very specific, with all the details taken care of, and this is what we want to do with the new venture. So we have today something like 25 appellations. We won't grow too much. We will keep this level of appellation, maximum 2 more. And we wanted to go from the beginning. I mean, we have produced Bourgogne, red and white, Village, Premier Cru, and Grand Cru. And this is very easy for me to produce only Grand Cru. I can't find the sourcing and so on. But, you know, it's a challenge to produce also entry-level wines and make it the best possible. And there is never a lie from me. And when I put Bourgogne on the label, the one you see on your screen, it means that all the grapes, all the must is coming from vines named Bourgogne. It's not a declassification of a village or a Premier Cru. Too many people are doing this, and they have for sure very good Bourgogne, red or white. But this is much more a challenge for me to produce it with the real grapes from this appellation. So let's maybe go and taste something, and we can add during the tasting some words.
Okay, but before we move on to the tasting, I have one question. You mentioned you are an haute couture négociant, but we also know that some of the vines or some of the vineyards you've been looking after for many years. So you're still, in a way, a part vigneron, no?
Yeah, well, we produce grapes also. We have 7 hectares, and we have purchased vineyards last year as well. So yes, we have some vines. But why should I say that I'm the only one in Burgundy to be able to produce good grapes? We are 3,500 vine growers in Burgundy, and I'm chasing all the people which are producing the best possible, and I work with them as my sourcing, my favorite sourcing. And yes, we do. We have vines that I work on for years, including before I restarted the new winery. And this is important for sure. But the most important is that some people are maybe producing better grapes than me. So I need them, and we work together. I buy their grapes or their must, and then I blend with mine sometimes, or I just produce the wines from their grapes. But this is the role of a négociant, is to put in a vat the best possible, the best raw material possible, and then do the job, the minimum job possible in order to bring it to your glass.
Okay, great. Let's start with the first one, the Bourgogne, which I have already in my glass. By the way, for your corks, everybody knows your corks. Do you also think Corhavin works? Because for the natural cork, they close, right? But for these corks, do they also close?
Yeah, Corhavin can work, and you just put that in the middle here. It's a soft material inside the cork. But the thing is that you have to keep the Corhavin. You have to insist to go through the shield, as we say. This is the bottom of the cork, but it goes through, no problem.
But the bottom, right? The bottom, you pierce through the plastic. Yeah. That doesn't close.
No, it doesn't close. It stays open. So you have to keep the Corhavin on the bottle.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And
all right. So
something important to say is that when you want to have a corkscrew and extract our corks, go all the way through with the screw here, and you have to go through the shield, the bottom, so you extract the cork perfectly. But if you don't do that, you may have troubles.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about this wine. You have special names for all of them. This is Cuvée de Perse Neige.
Perse Neige, yeah.
Snowdrops. Snowdrops, okay.
All the white wines have a nickname based on flowers. You know, our labels are futuristic, our cases are futuristic, everything is looking like coming back from the future. But I wanted to pay credit to Mother Nature, which is at the origin of everything. And so I gave nicknames. I have a reason why, but I keep it for myself. I gave a name to one wine or another. So all the whites are wearing the name of a flower, and all the reds, the name of a tree, except the Chambol-Musigny, which also has a flower, whose name is violet. But the Perse Neige is the first flower that goes through the snow in early spring. And so as this is my first wine, this is the first flower as well.
Okay, okay, great. Oh, that's a good meaning. Okay, so what's the location? Which village is this from?
So again, being a négociant allow me to blend. And I think the blend is a good thing because you can get the best of every part of Burgundy. So when you know that Burgundy starts north of Lyon and go up to Auxerre, it is in between. So I won't give too many examples. The most important is, will you have a pleasure or emotion with the wine? This is the most important. I can assure you it comes from Burgundy.
Okay. Good. And Chardonnay, not Aligoté.
No, in Burgundy, when you have Bourgogne on the label, it is Chardonnay. If it is not Chardonnay, you have Bourgogne Aligoté. So
yeah, but you always mention how some of the vineyards are actually filled with Aligoté, right? Even though they should be Chardonnay.
Yeah, mainly the Village, Premier Cru, and Grand Cru. But as for the Bourgogne, as we can add Aligoté on the side of the name Bourgogne, if we do that, we produce it as a Bourgogne aligoté. But yeah, for some other wines, aligoté is still planted there and there. For make a great Corton Charlemagne, for example.
Okay. Okay, tell us about the 17 vintage for white, which is of course very successful.
Actually, since 1996, that was the first year I noticed that the global warming had an effect on our wines. And this has been increasing year after year. And I would say from 10 years now, we have only great vintages due to the fact that it is a perverse effect of the global warming. I'm so sad for the planet, but I'm so happy for Burgundy because we never had so many vintages at that level in a row in the history. Or we don't remember, maybe 1,000 years ago. But yeah, since we notice everything, this is incredible. So 17 for me is the perfect great vintage that will be approachable from the beginning to maybe 20, 30, 40 years. And the whites are so pure, so great. And it's a paradox because we had a big quantity of whites in 17, there were grapes. And the whites are so pure, and that's great.
And you think it's, of course, at Bourgogne level, you would encourage people to drink it at any time, right?
Yeah, you can start now and you can keep it 10 years, 15 years, it will improve. But in the freshness of the youth, this is so good. I have an anecdote. One day I was in Singapore having an aperitif with people and they served me a white wine and I said, oh, it's so very good. Give me more. And it was my Bourgogne.
Okay. And what do these new, I mean, you've been working with these corks since 07, right?
08.
08. You find them to be good I mean, better for whites and more consistent for whites than the regular natural corks?
Yeah, this is, I mean, for any kind of wine, this is a revolution. To make it short, these closures are a reproduction of the best natural cork. It took me 20 years to invent, so to say, these new corks. Out of the 20 years, 17 to 18 years were based on looking for the best natural cork. So we made analyses on 4,000 bottles. And then when we knew about the best cork in terms of elasticity, porosity, and density, we just decided to copy it with the new material, polymers and things. And so it is breathing. It is like, you know, these polymers are like Gore-Tex, so to say. The oxygen can go through and the liquid cannot go out. But beside that, this is like a natural cork. It reacts to the frost, to the heat, the same way. And but it has none of the problem, like for sure the bad taste, for sure the difference between two bottles 20 years later. This will not be possible. I mean, if you have 20 years later a great bottle, and if you still have 2 or 3 of the same wine, it will be equally good.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to the second wine, the lovely Saint-Romain.
Saint-Romain, yes.
So this vineyard you've been working on for a number of years now. Can you tell us something about it?
No, actually, I was buying grapes, or most,
okay,
for years and years. But when I left my ex-winery, I left also the provenance. So I had new provenance for this one. And unfortunately, the new provenance that was based on not a one-shot contract, the guy sold his vineyards, and I could not get it anymore. So this is only the single vintage I have produced.
Okay.
I'm sad because I love this wine. This is a entry-level village wine, which is so good, a little mineral and flinty, so to say. I love it, but maybe in the future. I focus on Meursault. You know, I have Meursault, a lot
Yeah.
of Meursault and Meursault Premier Cru. So in my portfolio, maybe I miss another white. I don't know if in the future it will be back Saint-Romain or maybe Pouilly-Fuissé. I don't know yet. We have hopes.
Okay. Is there any reason why you pick Meursault as
Yeah,
your sort of main range?
there is the main reason is that I love to drink Meursault.
Okay.
Years, for years, I could not find a proper Meursault with no new oak or no, I mean, interference between the what nature gave and the glass. So I decided to try. It's a challenge again to produce a Meursault with no new wood, with the ancient way of producing white, which is not fermenting in barrels. Well, these kind of things. And so I am one of the biggest producer of Meursault nowadays. I produce 35 barrels a year. So that's
Wow.
great. Yeah.
Okay. So you love drinking Meursault, and that's why you pick Meursault.
I will never produce a wine, and my son Clément will never produce a wine that we don't like to drink. It doesn't
Okay.
mean these wines we don't produce are bad. It's not our taste. And you cannot have a universal taste, that's for sure. And people will prefer Saint-Romain or the people the Meursault, that's fine. I have no problem with it. But we will use to produce with the best of our souls, I would say, and passion. We have to love it. And this is why I picked Meursault.
You mentioned Clément. How do you divide the responsibilities at the winery between the two of you?
Well, at the moment, Clément is focused and he spent probably all his days to this, to controlling the building of the new winery. We have started in January of this year, 2020, to build a brand new winery that will be achieved probably by June next year. And this is a real full-time job for him to look at after that. Then he is also looking at the vineyards, at the cellar, but we have also our staff working with this. And as soon as Clément will have finished his job as a constructor, so to say, contractor, we will share more things, and he will join me to travel and to. But he's passionate, and this is the main thing. Passionate, and our cellar master, he's a very good connection, and they work together in the vineyards as well. So he has a future, and but now, because he has never been a winemaker or negociant before, he's learning with us. And but the passion is a key word.
Okay. And when do you expect yourself to retire, or you're too young for that?
I cannot answer to that. I just decided to die at 102 minimum with projects.
Okay, good. So you have a few years more.
Yeah, but just not to laugh about it, as soon as Clément will be ready, I will just give him the space for being the CEO, and I will always go on traveling and meeting you all, having fun around the table with good food and good wine.
And riding your Harley Davidson.
Why not? If I'm not too old.
So have you gone this year? You didn't go this year.
No, we could not move away from France this year.
Mm.
And I'm very sad because I just turned 66 this year, and I had the intention to go on Route 66. So I'm looking for the Route 67 for next year.
I wonder where that is.
I'm not sure it exists. So the Saint-Romain is just perfectly what you expect from a Saint-Romain. I mean, the purity of this one is fantastic. Yeah. And you cannot, I mean, take it for a Meursault. This is a Saint-Romain, and all the characteristics, of the Saint-Romain are in there. That's what I think. But
it'll be great to find a wine that's around that price range, because otherwise you have a big jump.
Yeah, true.
Okay. We have a 17 Chambolle-Musigny and a 16 Gevrey. I suppose we start with the 17, or what do you think?
I would say, yeah. The Chambord
Yeah?
Musigny.
Okay, all right. Let me grab my Kohaban and change my glass.
So the Chambord Musigny is one of my favorite villages, and I was so happy last year to be able to buy more than nearly 1.5 hectares of Chambord.
Is it one piece?
No, we have eight pieces, eight locations.
8 pieces, okay.
And this allow me to say that richness is in diversity. And if I can, for each of my appellations, find several sourcing, I would be happy. One example for the Corton Charlemagne, we now have 7 producers that are selling their grapes or their moss to us. So it makes the Corton Charlemagne of Laurent Ponsot a universal one, because we have the grapes are coming from all the parts, you know, from Ternan, from Ladois, from Alos, the top and the bottom of the slope. So this is unique, and only a negociant can do it. So with the Chambord, because we have something like now altogether 8 different locations on all the surface of Chambord Musigny appellation, and it makes Chambord that it is really what you expect.
So a very complete Chambord with all the diversity.
Yeah, yeah. Again, you cannot find it when you in a blind tasting. You cannot say this is a Gevrey. you go to Chambord direct. And this is what I would like, you know, as we try not to interfere, and the new technology help us to do that. I would like that every wine is different from the other, and this is what I wish, I would say, and up to now it works. Well, that's for sure. These are young wines, but they give something. You know, I just opened the bottle 1 hour ago, and it has been breezing a little.
Yeah, and also 17 is quite forgiving. I mean, it seems like they are quite elegant and quite easy.
Easy, yeah, but still with a backbone and with a good construction, fantastic harmony, I find.
Yeah. So were you able to buy all these 8 pieces in one go? Is it from the same owner?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. That's great.
It was a big vine grower that was selling all these vines. So I purchased nearly half of it. I could not afford to buy everything. You know?
You mean half of the Chambord Musigny village or half of the estate?
Half of the estate.
Oh, okay, okay.
I shared it with someone else because of the price. I could not afford. The pricing of the vineyards is too high.
Exactly.
And I had a quarter hectare of Bonnemar that we purchased last year. So this was the main expense. So you have to tell me what you think about this.
I love it. I mean, I find it to be very elegant. I like the floral character, maybe because of the Cuvée de la Violette. It's giving me some thoughts already in my mind, but I mean, it's really floral. It's, you know, I find it to be really fresh, really floral, and I like the 17 vintage because of its freshness. So, you know, I drink 17s more than I drink 15 and 16s now, because I find some of them to be a bit shut, even at, you know, the village level. So I think this is a very lovely wine.
Ah, good, thank you. You know, as a father, I would only say good things about the wine, so it's maybe not fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just to give you an example, we had the 17 Chambertin recently, which is much more close than this one. The location is important too. So Chambord is well known for being softer, I would say, than the Gevrey, especially in the tannins. And it is much easier to drink today 17 Chambord Musigny rather 17 Gevrey Chambertin or even Beaune Romanée.
Right.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But I like it too.
Okay. Let's move on to the Gevrey.
Yep.
I always forget the meaning of this word. Cuvée de l'Annule.
Old. It's alder. It's a tree. Alder.
Okay.
It's a kind of.
Is it a tree that you see near this vineyard?
No.
Or it just gives you it gives you a feeling.
I just told you previously that I have always had a reason why I picked a name, but I keep it for myself.
Okay, all right. Okay, so you make 5,080 bottles and 500 magnums. So it's not a small production, it's a big production.
Yeah, sure. And in 16, I didn't have yet my new vineyards because last year I bought also 1.3 hectares of Gevrey Chambertin in 6 or 7 different locations. But at that time I was purchasing grapes to several producers, I think 4.
Yeah.
And this was also even if this vintage of 16 had troubles because we had frost that killed 2 grapes on 3. I could purchase a good amount of grapes that year. People were needing a cash flow, cash money. I mean, at that time, so it was good for me to help me to.
So in the recent vintages, how many is this your one of the bigger wines? Or is this the biggest red?
Red? I mean,
In
no.
terms of volume.
Volume, yeah, we did one of the biggest. Yeah, Gevrey Chambertin, I think, is the biggest.
Okay. So with the new edition, are you still buying the same from the same sources, or you reduce those and you're mainly using yours?
I reduced a little, but I'm still buying to some of them, to the best of them.
Okay. And in how many different spots in Gevrey?
Well, I have myself, I work on, I think, 7, and I purchased from 3 others.
Okay. And also all from all over?
Yeah, all over the Gevrey, which is a very wide land of production.
Okay. So 16, there was the frost. That reduced significantly the production in places like Chambol. But how was Gevrey? I don't remember. It wasn't as bad, right? It was.
No, it was. The Gevrey village was okay, I would say. But the Grillot Chambertin, for example, we made 15 hectoliters per hectare. So this is really very low. Chambol-Musigny has been affected a lot. The only village that has not been affected is Moret-Saint-Denis. And
right.
I was still at my ex-winery at that time. And 16 was the biggest crop ever of the Claude Laroche. While the other neighbors were just crying because of the quality. Yeah.
But what about Chambaucham in 16? That was bad.
13 hectoliters per hectare.
13. Okay. So like one third?
Or it was I don't know, 20% of normal production.
20%. Right. So this is quite ripe, and it's been a while since I last tasted this, and it's quite drinkable.
It is definitely, and the concentration due to the fact that 1 grape on 2 and Gevrey was not there since April. The maturation of the grapes during the year was just perfect, and the concentration just due to the harvest was fantastic. And it took maybe 1 or 2 years to age gently after the bottling, and we reached the point where now it's open and full-bodied and really a great. I mean, blind, you may say this is a premier cru because it's so harmonious and full-bodied and approachable for sure.
Sorry, I forgot to change these photos. Here we go, Gevrey. I see that many of your fans and friends have logged on from all over the world.
I,
More people from outside of Hong Kong than from Hong Kong, maybe.
well, I know that in Hong Kong your position is not easy all over the
Yeah,
planet is tough, but we try to keep our passion intact. And I know that when everything will be settled, we will have to drink together more and more. So I'm confident.
exactly, exactly. Okay, so wow, this is oh, I should open your. What about your other 16s? Are they similar to this sort of development, or are they a bit more shut down?
No, no, they all are just approachable. I mean, even the whites, they're so good, so
Okay.
good. You know, this is another effect of the global warming. The wines have less teenage phases than
Mm,
was in the 90s, for example. In the 90s, all the wines were needing 10 years to just to open one eye. Now, I mean, from the bottling, some of the vintage like 17, they give what they have. They can give more for sure with maturity. And but we don't have I, in the last 10 vintages any wine which is totally, I mean, closed like back into an egg. Nothing gets out, and this is I'm so sorry to say, but this is a good thing for us. For
mm. But what about the ageability of wine? Do you think that will also be affected?
No, because the components which are in the wine, I go back to technology, are there to age the wine. You need to have alcohol, acidity, tannins, coloring material, which are the basis of aging process, and they are here. Everything is here, and you know I compare many of the new wines with the 49 of my grandfather because it was a very hot year, and he make a wine with 15.2% alcohol at the end of the fermentation, with an acidity which was not fantastic, but a great pH, with a lot of coloring material and tannin. And today, the 49 Claude Laroche, if you find one bottle, buy it any price, this is a young wine. It has another 20 to 30 years to come to enjoy your palate. And so the
Mm,
wines of today, I mean the 16 especially, they are like exactly like this, and the 2020 as well. Incredibly,
mm.
I mean, great to mature up to 100 years.
How would you compare the vintages of 15 and 16?
Well, they are totally different. 15 is more precise, every element is there, not at the moment totally associated, I mean, together, not very harmonious. This is one of the rare vintage which need time to come out. But this is a
Mm,
great vintage too. But 16 today is ready. It has the body and the structure and the backbone to age as well. Um, if I could compare, one is a sophisticated woman that doesn't talk too much, but very. This is a 15, and the other is a lady which is talking to everyone, you know, wearing very funny clothes and things. So it's
so not too shy, the 16
not too
lady.
shy, but both very adorable.
Okay, good. Okay, and while we're on vintages, enlighten us on 18, 19, and 20. I'm not able to. I come this year, and so I missed the 19 vintage, and 18. I sort of know what it's all about, but what how would you compare these three then?
Well, I cannot compare. Again, the level of quality is equal. All the characteristics of the vintage are different. You know, but really, I am embarrassed myself. First of all, I was never very much capable to compare vintages. It's like comparing children. If you have many children, they are all from the same mother, same father, and they just don't look alike, but they are great. And this is the same way. I'm not good in it. They are great vintages, totally different. 18, 19,
Mm.
20, really different. But I mean, we will need to buy, to taste it, and to drink. to be sure. But I cannot tell you really something about it. It's too early.
Is there more success in white or red in these vintages? Because people, for example, they say, for 16, it's a red vintage. For 15, it's also a red vintage. 17 is more white. Would you have any preference
No,
for white and red?
no,
No?
I these kind of sayings, how come someone decide that this vintage is better and so on? No, I mean, every single wine, if it is on the market, if the winemaker, if the negociant doesn't lie, it has to be drunk. As for myself, if the wine is not in accordance with the name on the label, I will not produce it. In the new winery, we will have a distillery. So the wine which is not good enough to be wearing, to wear the name of the appellation will be distilled. And this is what I think today. Too many people are trying to classify, to give, overall idea of what is a wine, and I don't like it. I mean, each wine has the right to live as each human being has the right to live.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
know I could have been a good politician because I can say nothing.
Many other questions, but let's start with obviously the back vintages. Recently, we tasted some of your older children. One that stood out was a very, very good bottle of 1990 Griotte Chambertin. The wine is now perfect at 30 years old. And I find the wine to be so seductive and also so, I mean, it's full of rich fruit, ripe fruit, but then it's so seductive. Have you had these wines recently? Any preference for other Griotte Chambertin that our viewers should know?
No, I don't. I didn't have any 90 recently. I had the 91, which was just outstanding, fantastic. More precise than 1990, but as I said previously, the Griotte 1990 is like a Lolita, but a Lolita that was grown up today, but kept her mind young, very young in her mind. And this is what you today share with her, or with
Right.
her, with the bottle. No,
Okay.
I'm happy that my babies from before my divorce are still improving.
You made them, so you cannot hide. So
No,
people will still know that it's your wine. And another wine that gave a lot of pleasure recently is the '07 Claude Laroche. Wow, that wine is super gorgeous. It's really attractive, and it's getting ready. I mean, it's one of the few wines, one of the few wines that are ready relatively young for your Claude Laroche, because your wine tends to take more time. People and at the dinner asked me, "Hey, is it comparable to 17?" And I said, "Well, the 17 was not made by Laurent, so it's impossible to really compare." So how have you, I mean, this is now a more tricky question. Have you tried the wines recently from
no,
your former home?
no,
Not at all. Do you plan to?
no.
Okay.
I ended the book and I started a new book. I didn't turn a page. I just ended the book. So we are
Okay.
now at the beginning of the new book.
Okay. Good. Good, good, good. Anything else you want to tell us about the 2017 or 16s that we tasted?
No, I think that they are available. We are happy to share it with everyone. And as the period of time didn't help us for the sales, I still have some stock. So this is what the good news of the day. And
Fantastic. Well, we
I would like,
also pick wines that are still available because quite a few of the other ones are sold out. but then we still have these available. That's why we want to taste through them and also recommend them to our viewers.
Sure.
Okay, final thoughts. What's your wish for the new year?
Well, the wish is that we can all get together again, because this is so difficult to. I drink less and less because drinking on your own is not possible. So I miss drinking, and what I wish for 21 is that we can go on to. I know the life will be a little different after this COVID, but go back to light thinking, I would say, and enjoy life and put our passion on the table rather our reason.
Okay, wonderful. Well, may I wish you, Claude, and the rest of the family all the best in the new year, 2021. And I really look forward to seeing you. I don't know whether it will be the first half of the new year, or I mean, hopefully the earlier the better. But it'll be great to see you again in person.
You will be very welcome, and I wish you as well a happy New Year, all your family and children and your wife, and everyone in Hong Kong and all over the planet. I wish the very best for 2021.
Okay, thank you, Laurent.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.